Feral hogs have become a significant problem in Arkansas, with the problem growing exponentially each year. They're responsible for an estimated $1.5 billion annually in agricultural and ecological damage. That's why Arkansas Farm Bureau is working to be part of the solution to this growing problem. Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation is partnering with Bull Creek Outdoors, the University of Arkansas Cooperative Extension Service, and the County Conservation Districts to develop a feral hog cost-share program. This program will provide up to 50% off the cost of purchasing a Bull Creek Outdoors hog trap and associated equipment. William Dismang of Bull Creek Outdoors spoke with us about the trap's features and how to set it up.
So if this is a normal situation, we'd have our bait in the middle. Everything should be good to go at this point. We got our camera up, everything's adjusted right. Be ready to trap pigs. It does matter when you're pre-baiting, selecting your spot. You don't want to set this thing up in a ditch or on top of a big knoll. The tolerances are pretty tight on it. You can deal with some unlevel ground, but it's always better, if it's a straight plane like this. As long as it's not going like that, you can overcome that. Whenever, the first thing you do when you're pre-baiting, you want to be where the pigs are at, but there's no use pre-baiting in the middle of the woods where you cannot get this thing. So just remember, you're going to have to pull this thing in with a truck or a UTV, and you need to be able to get this thing in position. So keep that in mind, your bait. It's pretty frustrating. If you go out there, you cannot get this thing up around your bait and you got to move it, say 30 yards away. Well, they'll sit here and eat on your pre-bait before they'll ever go in that trap. So I always recommend, whenever you're pre-baiting, don't go throwing corn everywhere. I like to pre-bait just like I'm baiting in this trap. Mainly a trough line, 30 foot long is plenty enough. That gets those pigs used to coming in there. When you're pre-baiting, I'm a big believer in you gotta know what you're going after. So if you put corn out and you don't have a trail camera, you're never gonna really know what your target is. You don't know whether, you got big sounder 20 coming in, or if it's just a single bore, or what kind of numbers you're looking at. Because that first night, you're not gonna know. There might be a group of 5 bachelor boars come in and you may drop on them, but you should have waited on that sounder of 20 that was coming after that. So it's very, very important to know what hogs you got coming in before you set this trap up when you're pre-baiting. Normally what I would do is, whenever I start pre-baiting, I want these pigs on bait at least a good 2 or 3 days coming in routinely. If they're coming in once a week, it's really not time to set the trap up yet. They're too sporadic. They're not dependent on that bait yet. So ideally, they're coming in 2 or 3 days, coming in around about the same time. That way, you know what to expect. Some other things, just say, your property's already seen traps before. A lot of times they'll be a little bit more trap shy. If I think they're trap shy at all, what I do is leave those 4 back panels off, or at least open the back 2 up. That way, that first night they come up there, they're not quite as scared of it. It gives another opening. A lot of times they'll go ahead and just come right on in. If I know these hogs have never seen a trap before, and they're coming in very routinely, I'd probably go ahead and set the trap up and try to catch them the first night. So the whole idea behind this trap is it's not made to stay in one spot. It's made to continually move around. You get pigs on pre-bait, you go make your catch, and you've already got 2 or 3 other places pre-baited, and you're moving this trap to the next spot. So it doesn't take a lot of effort and a lot of time to set up, and that's what we really harp on is trying to make it easy as possible. That way, it's no big deal to go move this trap to another sounder, go catch them. And if you need to come back and catch some straggling hogs, get them back on bait, it's fine to do. You ought to have the pigs in a couple weeks in most normal situations. Just say if you had pigs on bait and you go set the trap up and they hadn't showed back up in a couple of weeks, that means you gotta start opening some panels up. You gotta I would take a stringer and head off through the woods and try to get them back on bait, try to get them back in here. I've seen that work several times, and you may have to take the trap down. You may have to move it out of the way and get them back on bait and kind of start from scratch again. But more than likely what happened was they got pushed. Maybe if it's during hunting season, dogs could push them, hunters, anything like that. They're not going to be able to stand any type of pressure whatsoever, and they're going to move. So just keep that in mind.
County Farm Bureaus that are interested in participating in the Cost Share program may reach out to John Bailey in the Little Rock office by emailing him at john.bailey@arfb.com.